back to bed. You know you're not supposed to be up and around.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Pair Theory Podcast, episode 30. With me, as always, Mr. Craig Youngblood in the house. My name is Justin Ross. Welcome to the room. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Hope you're, if you're in Texas, good Lord, I hope you're okay. Man, we got rocked by some storms last night. It was electrifying, to say the least. It was a lightning storm from hell, man. Corey was texting me, telling me that he was getting red lightning going on.
Red lightning.
Red lightning, yeah. And I was
Never
like,
seen that.
"Oh!" I had to Google it. I was like, "What is red lightning?"
What is it?
It's like 50 miles up in our atmosphere, and it's so far out. Yeah, you can get red lightning. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's
red lightning.
I know there's it's called a MyOps adapter you can put on your camera, and
Okay.
it's a lightning sensor because it's hard to catch lightning with a camera. But I want to get one because you can put it on your camera, set it outside during a storm, and it'll track it. And when it's fixing to hit, it'll actually fire your camera for you, so you can get real cool lightning strikes.
I'm in.
I need to try that out. Yeah.
Today we're going to do something different, guys. I know a lot of you, a lot of our fans out there have been talking about the paranormal world, and the paranormal world has been like upside down for a good minute now, like for a while now, right? Like we're upside down. Like it's all drama filled. It's like one Jerry Springer show after the next going on. It's like, I feel like we have gotten so far away from what the paranormal world is all about. And, apology to our fans that we kind of got into that, right? Like we were getting on to where we're just like, the bad energy was just kind of, I don't know, getting to me. And then we just started shitting on people. We shouldn't have. So to those that we did, sorry. But I'm going to try and take a little bit more positive angle to this thing, and I want to give a shout out here in a moment to some groups that are just doing just that. They're not getting involved in the drama, and they're staying forward. And some of them got into a little bit of drama, and they got out of it. They diverted it. They didn't know they were in it till they were in it, and then they diverted that situation. And I'm proud of those guys. And these shows that have like good production and whatnot, that's something that Craig and I we're keen on. We like to have good production, and I'm sure you do too. You like to have good production. You like things to look good, and well, it's the pride factor in things. Now, not everybody has that capability of doing stuff, but some of the guests that have been on our shows, they'll tell you the same thing as having good production. You're watching it on YouTube. You're watching it on Facebook. The TikToks of the world and whatnot. So having good production is key. And these groups that I got to list, man, they're solid at what they do. And there's haters out there in the world. There's always haters, and they're going to come out of the woodwork on everything. Like, doesn't matter. In my band, I've got haters. Craig as a photographer's got haters. There's just haters are going to hate. They're going to hate you because they ain't you, kind of thing. It's just what it is. Somebody finds something that works, and then everyone comes in, well, this is crap. This is garbage. How dare you? Like, how dare me what? Do something cool. This is fun. So how about you, Craig? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just I try to be more supportive of everyone because everyone's got their own skill set, their own eyes. Like, we could put 20 of us in the room and we're all going to do something different. So I try to look at everyone's unique perspective and see like where they're coming from.
Totally. Yeah. Even in the investigation world, I mean, there's all kinds of different investigators, but there used to be. But then it got kind of like in this realm where like everybody's doing the same thing. Nobody's challenging the realm of possibilities. It's an open door. I mean, try everything. But when you start seeing the stuff that's just like repetitive, it's just like you get bored with it, you know. And so I like when I'm watching shows, like I like the vibe to be good. I like things to be positive energy, staying for it, even though they're trying to get answers. Still have fun with it. Make that part of it, because we know how boring it can get real quick. Just
Yeah.
sitting in a room asking questions.
Yeah.
So
Talking
do
to
you?
yourself in the dark.
Yeah, totally. Never gonna get those hours back.
No.
No,
Just sit there and talk
just talk
and listen.
and listen.
And
Some investigators, they have things that happen, and there's been a couple new tools that have come to be. Um, you guys have all seen the EMF detectors and the spirit boxes, and I had a question the other night. I'm like, which out of the spirit boxes do you love the most? And I can't remember the name of the one you've got, Craig, but that's the one that I'm like, man, that one seems to work for us
yeah,
flawlessly.
yeah,
The SB11 and the SB7 are really dirty, and the speakers are really hard to understand. It doesn't come through very clear, and even Project Fear uses an SB7,
yeah,
and they have to have a little radio with it that makes it come in clearer. So it's not that it doesn't work. It does work. It's just not coming in as clear. It's just the whole time
yeah.
and on the box, but when the voice comes through, it's still covered up by that. What is the name of the one you have? Do you remember the name of it?
Let me look. I think because the only downside to that one is it's not loud enough for me. Like I want to get an external speaker for it.
But what's crazy is that it translates well onto our cameras. Like
Right.
like our camera audio picks it up really nicely, so it's not overbearing. That's what I really dig about it. That, and the answers come through like really clear. It's not.
I It's from Ghost Hunter's Choice Equipment. It's a panoramic uh, spirit box.
Fair
Just a
enough.
research device. That's what it's called.
We'll drop a link in the comments where you guys can pick that up at. It's dope. There's a new one out that's called the Dead Bell, and it runs off EMF, electromagnetic fields, and it's very cool on the way that whenever it picks up in its vicinity, it picks up an EMF, and it'll ring the bell. It looks just like a bell, like a bellhop bell that you would ring at the counter at a hotel, and it'll ding, it'll go off. And there's a group that I was watching use one here recently, and I was like waiting for him to be like, all right, and this is just the pair theory in me going, all right, you got communication with it now, ring it once for yes and twice for no, but they never did that. And so now I'm like, okay, well, Craig and I are going to make a new purchase soon. We're going to use this on an investigation. We
I've been
love
want-
trigger objects, so it works for us.
yeah, I've wanted one of those bells for a while. I've been watching it.
When they first came out, though, they were like $600.
Yeah, they weren't cheap.
They were not cheap. No, they weren't. But I think they're down to like $199 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can get one. We're broke on this show, man. We don't make any money off this. we got 5 people watching right now, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
So, so I do want to give a shout out to some of these other shows, and I'm going to start with Mind Seed TV. Mind Seed TV, they have a lot of haters. They have a lot of people that shit on them for what they've done, but they release good content. You can't. I mean, look. Some people are like us, are looking in for the truth, right? And then there's some people that are looking into it for the show factor, the shock value, that's what they're watching for. Like just like no different than watching a scary movie. I know people that watch scary movie that don't believe in paranormal, don't believe in ghosts, but then they go watch a scary movie and then they have trouble walking down the hallway in the dark.
Right.
Like those people crack me up.
Yeah.
People say, I don't know if I believe in spirits, but I know I wouldn't fucking go in that place. Well, if you don't believe in spirits, why wouldn't you go in there? Well, I don't know, man. It kind of scares me. What scares you? Well,
The
And then you're just
unknown.
waiting for them to say it. You're like, because it's haunted. You know, they don't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
A lot
that's,
of people think the fear of the unknown. They don't know, and they don't.
yeah,
I don't want to know.
true.
They think
But
they want to know until they find out.
that's a
And then,
good, good call there, Craig. I mean, yes, you're right. It's the fear of the unknown. I think everybody fears that.
yeah,
It's something you don't want to do. I mean, right down to, let's take paranormal out of it. It's like right down to paying taxes, right? Or doing shit with the IRS, or doing shit with a payment of some sort, or something you have to go do that you're not comfortable with.
yeah,
It's good. It annoys you and it scares you a little bit
right.
because you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? So paranormal, kind of the same way, where it's like, you know, these people are they're they're going into something that they're not comfortable with. Number one, they're not prepared for this. They didn't make plans to go be in that situation. So yeah, they're scared of it. But at the same time, they say, I don't believe in paranormal. Well, okay. But if you didn't believe in paranormal, then why are you scared?
Yeah,
You know there's nobody in your house, you know? So that's the thing. But Mind Seed, man, they've always done a good job. So kudos to those guys. They're awesome. Um, they do a hell of a job over there, and they have stayed ahead of the curve. They got up until a little bit of debacle, but they put a message out there for the world. If you want to see what that is, you can go over there to their page and see it.
I think he's
One,
do hunting purgatory again.
I saw that. I want to. I'm interested to see what he's got.
Yeah,
I know he did release a video that was talking. His name is Casey Nolan. He did release a video where he's talking about some of the most terrifying things, and he does videos kind of like what we're doing here, and and he does these videos where he talks about other people's videos and stuff like that. So, um, another one that I want to throw out there is the guest that we had on the show with Fear Fanatics. Like, I love what those guys do, or what that guy does. It's not a team; it's one dude, and he stays with the content and keeps it rolling. And he does a good job, man. And he stays positive. And a lot of those Urban X Explorers, Urban X Hill, or Urbex Hill on YouTube. That's another one. They're just real positive. They stay with what they're doing. You know, they stay forward. They don't get mixed up in the drama, which is pretty awesome. And then one of my personal favorites of all of them, Project Fear, man. That they are. I say this all the time, but they are literally like watching a band, and I didn't know until recently that they've been doing this since they were kids. Like
Oh,
since
really?
that, literally, like all of them.
Hmm.
I think it started with the three of them: Tanner, Dakota. I can't remember, but yeah, it started with three of them when they were kids. They just had an episode come out this past Friday that is a part two to the one they released the Friday before, and it was really good. They're at the Fanar School, Fanner School. I can't remember the name of it. Really good to watch. They did this really cool thing. It was hilarious. They one of their fans had given them like a homemade dice. It's like a ball. It's like the size of looks like the size of a tennis ball, right?
Hmm.
And it's got choices, so like you can roll it. It's like handcuffs, locked in, roll again, skip the turn, that kind of thing. It's kind of fun. So instead of they usually do a deal where they do part one, and then usually they get down to where they in part two they separate for the night, and they all do solos in these different rooms, right? Um, but in this one, they had to they used a phone that chose at random, so everybody put their finger on the phone and it chose who was going to take the first turn, right? But they all put a note in the bag. They all picked a spot that someone was going to have to do a solo in, right? They put it in the bag, and then use the deal where you touch the phone, everyone puts their fingers down on the phone, and then it chooses which person was going to choose, so at random. And then one person chose, and then they pull out the piece of paper, and they're like, damn it, I did not want to go to this place. But they also, whoever wrote that note, had put an add-in down at the bottom that said, and you have to roll the dice. So it was like and there's an extra to what I'm telling you got to do. And so they, one person rolls the dice and they got what they got. I'm not going to give it away. You have to go over and check out the video, but it's pretty good. And they always stay positive, man. And I find myself like interested in what they're catching, but I find myself laughing at them at the same time because it's hilarious. Like some of the shit
Yeah.
they put themselves is like you and I out when we're investigating, scaring each other and having fun.
Yeah.
And so that's good, man. Like that's what the paranormal world is about. It's about investigating. It's about trying to find answers, but at that same time enjoying it. Like enjoy what you're doing. It's not all, all work and no play. It should be fun. That's why we got into it in the first place for it, was sneaking into old houses and buildings and, that place in the forest they told you not to go. And,
Yeah.
like when I was a kid, I was running all over the place. Anything that was in the vicinity that I could get to on two legs, I was in,
Crazy fans.
crazy man's. Yeah, that was after I got a truck.
Hmm.
That was like a playground of old abandoned homes and barns and mansions and so. I mean, we're just having. God, I wish that was still there.
Yeah.
Like I would love to go back to that now. That
What
was
is it now? Subdivision?
Oh yeah, it's just a massive subdivision corporate deal that's just.
Hmm.
I mean, like the old bridge out there is gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the mansion's still there. Somebody lives in it now, but all the old homes and barns and stuff are gone.
Hmm.
But you used to go out there and just we could park, take flashlights, go jump the fence, and we'd be rummaging, through these old barns and you know
Yeah.
making buddies get in the trunk of vehicles. He knows who he is.
Yeah.
That wasn't
And
when we were kids either. That's when we were still adults.
right.
It was good times though. That
Yeah.
shit was fun. So kudos to those guys. Kudos, major kudos to the Project Fear Club and the Fear fam out there, man. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome for doing that. And keep it going. They just released a deal I saw on their YouTube where they're talking about the summer of solos. And
Oh,
all of them are going to different spots and doing a solo at each one, which is cool. That's
yeah.
they're keeping their content going and they turned and another thing about those guys is it's all based on they turned Project Fear came from Destination Fear, which was on Travel Channel.
Yeah.
And they turned when they got let go from Travel Channel, and I don't want to say why, I don't want to bring up drama, but when they did, they turned a bad thing into a positive thing. And that's awesome that they were able to do that. So kudos to those guys. And then another one, man, is a dude that that I found recently, and I think it's really cool how this guy is doing his show, and we're going to show that tonight. We're going to show one of his episodes front to back. Let you guys watch it. So get your popcorn ready, get you a drink ready, turn the lights down. It's going to get fun in here. It's not storm. I was kind of hoping it was going to storm tonight. Damn it! It's supposed to storm the rest of the week. Last night would have been perfect. Lightning flashing through this son of a bitch while we were watching it. That'd been awesome. Was it balls out at your house last night?
Not really. I mean, it got a little loud a few times, but I went to sleep pretty good. I
What
didn't. I
about
don't.
you there, Johnny Westside? Doesn't he live over by you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't live too far from me.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're in a bubble. We either really get hit or we don't get nothing. So, I mean, we didn't have any real crazy winds or anything like that that I can remember.
It went from still to just panic going on outside. And we were just watching out the window. We parked the trailer in the driveway and put the van next to it and had Glenda's car in front of my van and had it up under the tree. I was like, well, if the tree takes it, we got insurance,
Right.
but it'll keep the hail off of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into this, man. So this is a really cool dude. It's called Shanclin Shadow Productions, and what a cool way to do a show. So here we go. Enjoy, folks.
The time has finally come. I have read your comments and your suggestions of videos you wanted to see. Thunderbirds have finally arrived. Oh! The stories have been circulating, the stories have been going around the world, and of sightings of giant birds of thunder and lightning that reach and fly in the heavens and reach to the ground to share their medicines or to prey on the weak. Oh. Today's episode we are going to be discussing thunderbirds. So, I'm going to have to let you know that thunderbirds, and this story, little disclaimer, that this is a story from my people. If you go to different tribes, different ethnicities around the world, they're going to differ. They're going to be a little bit different, whether they're good, they're bad, the stories that come behind it. So let me go ahead and take you back. These stories of the Thunderbirds, as how I was told, now there may be different variations with even within the tribe. Now, what I was told is when humans came onto this earth, there used to be villages, there used to be different bands of Navajo Diné people that used to roam the land here. And unfortunately, during that time, this was a time when monsters still roamed the lands here in the Navajo Nation. And so the stories go with this place that one of these monsters was called the Thunderbird. Now, the Thunderbird had a nest in a place called Shiprock, New Mexico. And from what I've heard actually too, is some of my Pueblo friends that I had growing up, they used to tell me that the Shiprock Mountain itself is what, and that whole street that kind of leads up to it, was when a Thunderbird actually fell from the sky, in that whole streak right there. And when it crash landed into the earth, it's where you kind of see like what looks like to be two wings kind of come up right there. And then that mountain right there was actually the final resting place of what is a Thunderbird. And now pretty sure the Pueblos out there may be able to tell you more details about this if they want to or not. But this is just something I heard from one of my coworkers who's from Taos. And for us, on that mountain right there was the nest of where this deity and this being actually lived. Now, the people that lived around Shiprock itself used to get picked up and taken from their lands and their homes, and then they used to be taken over to this mountain, and their bodies used to be thrown against the cliff faces, and they used to fall on the ground and die. And so the Thunderbird would go and pick up the bodies, and then it would go and feed it to its young. And it wasn't until I mentioned these two warriors, Nainas and Intawashishchine, and other spiritual warriors at the time too, would go and they fought these monsters to be able to make this place safe for human beings themselves. So in the monster wars inside of those creation stories, they went out and they fought so many different types of monsters. And so this being of the Thunderbird was slain, and so but the remnants of its energy, you can say that it still remains on the mountain of Shiprock, Arizona, or New Mexico, sorry. It's a little late for me. So I recently went through Shiprock, and when I drove past the Shiprock mountain that's right there, that was like one of the things I was thinking about. I was like, geez, man, like at the time, this was something that already happened after my experience I had of a Thunderbird. And when I drove past it and I was just thinking about it, I prayed to it, prayed that the energies were good, that the energies, that came from it doesn't get me sick or anything like that. So now this is going to kind of lead into my experience of what I had with an actual Thunderbird. Now, this was a case and a time and location when I didn't think that this would actually happen. This was like one of the last things I was ever thinking of experiencing, and it happened in Vulture City, Arizona, during an overnight paranormal investigation. Now, this was during the time, if you guys haven't yet, you can go check out my video of when I was a tour guide over Vulture City, Arizona. But this was a time when I was still doing my tour guides over there, and every once in a while, the location would host events like a Paracon or overnight investigations, and sometimes they would bring out celebrities. What was very interesting about this overnight investigation and experience was the invitation to bring on Johnny Zaffis. Now, for those of you who do not know, Johnny Zaffis is the nephew of Ed and Lorraine Warren. I'm pretty sure if you guys have seen the Conjuring movies, yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren, he's their nephew. So he's been on a lot of their cases. He has a TV show, Haunted Collector, on Travel Channel 2 as well. And he has a lot of some of the haunted objects from Ed and Lorraine Warren, and even some of his experiences, his travels that he's been on. So having him there, pretty well-known paranormal investigator, having him there and was just a great honor to be able to experience his point of view on the paranormal. And I have to say, out of everybody that I've met in the paranormal community, Johnny Zaffis is probably the highest person I respect inside of the paranormal community. Just his outlook on the paranormal is very, very similar to how we interact and see the spiritual world. And it was pretty funny because during one of his speeches, he was talking about how a lot of his cases, they were like, oh, I live on an Indian burial ground. And he made the joke, everywhere is an Indian burial ground. And I was like, yes, preach. But he is the type of person that goes to different cultures to experience them, to learn, to hear their stories, their perspectives from different races, different religions, different faiths, all around. And when we were talking with him, it was just such a breath of fresh air of when we would speak to him about the paranormal. And we went in deep with this conversation. It was funny because we're at the fireplace, had a smoke, and we really went into deep conversation. So just to kind of give you a little bit of context on who was actually there and was actually a witness to the Thunderbird itself, this guy has a lot of credibility. Now, before the paranormal investigations actually began at this event, overnight investigation, we were asked to see if we can perform a protection ceremony, a protection blessing for all the attendees that were there. So I was there with my brother Hero at the time, and we went to go investigate the location, or we went to go begin the ceremony. And as we were doing the ceremony, we were singing the songs, and I was at the fire being able to bless people. My brother was singing the songs. Now, after we got done blessing Johnny Zaffis, he went over and sat back down next to the fire. Then we were going down the line of everybody else, and there was a photographer that was there too as well. And this photographer was snapping photos of us. And what was really interesting is inside of the fire smoke, when he took that photo, looked like the face and the beak of what looked like to be a Thunderbird itself. And it looks, if you guys can imagine, it's kind of like a pterodactyl, but with a beak that's not as long. And he showed us this picture a couple days after the event actually happened. Now, during the ceremony, while it was going, the energy was intense. And if you got to go check out the time I was a tour guide at a haunted ghost town, I explained there the background of this town and why it's so spiritually active. Not too far away from this town is an open pit mine, where a lot of the local tribes back in the day, when I mentioned these spiritual warriors used to go out and fight and kill these monsters, they had to go and place them and bury them somewhere. Vulture City was one of those places, and unfortunately, when the mines opened up, spirits of giants started to emerge from inside of the ground. And when it came to that, the giants started roaming around. We're like, okay, cool. Well, hopefully that's the last of it. It wasn't. And during this ceremony, while we were singing our songs and doing what we needed to do, Johnny Zaffis saw something he's never seen before. He felt, and everybody felt at the location, a huge gust of wind go through the whole town. And Johnny Zaffis looks up into the sky, and he sees a wingspan the size of like half of the city, half of the town right there, just fly over, just black, just go fly over the whole town. And he freaked out. And if you're gonna freak out Johnny Zaffis, it would have to be pretty big. So after the ceremony was done, he came up to me. He's like, "Did you see that? Did you see what flew over the town?" And we're like, "What? What did you see?" He's like, "The bird. You didn't see the bird fly over?" And we're just like, "Bird?" He's like, "The wingspan was massive." And he told us a description of it. And the first thing that popped up in both of my brother and I's mind was the Thunderbird. This is one of those other monsters that were buried inside of this land here not too far away. And so we're just like, okay, so this is Johnny Zaffis's account. So we were on guard. We were ready just in case anything else were to happen. And we were there. And we're just like, okay, well, we'll take that into an account when we do our investigation tonight. Let's go ahead and ask the spirits themselves what they think of the interaction, what they think of what happened, and ask them if they saw the same thing too. So later on in the night, we began our investigation in the assay building. And when we were there, it was very different because the spirits themselves were scared, very, very scared. They're like, help us, save us. We were just like, what's wrong? What's affecting you guys? What can we do to help you guys? We had the SP7 spirit box playing at the time. Colta asked, do you need protection? And this is what came up, the cry of a thunderbird.
Go ahead and keep asking questions. Do you need protection? Whoa! Dude, that was a cry! No. That's like a bird. Thunder being cried.
As you can see, excitement blew up in my face. But then, immediately right after, was fear. Because it was exciting to capture that evidence, but realizing right after the cost, the fear, the power behind of what's flying around in the sky at this very moment was terrifying. And because when it comes to thunderbirds, they're very, very powerful spiritual beings and deities. They have the power of thunder. They have the power of lightning. And there's so many different stories and ceremonies depicting how powerful thunder beings and lightning beings are. And just to have one flying around, going around, was very, very intimidating, even for me and my brother. And this was like, holy shoot, you know, this is going to be a battle of kaijus happening right outside. But throughout the night, we just sang some protection songs for the spirits. They're all inside the building. And we began singing more protection songs for them, praying for them and asking the spirits, you know, like, you know, just stay calm, stay hidden. Hopefully this thing goes away. And sure enough, it did. Now, whether these beings, I know a lot of you are going to ask, like, was it a physical being? Was it spiritual? This was a time where you have to understand that these beings, when they come to that level of power, can traverse planes. They can traverse different realities when it comes to physical, spiritual, whatever you may think of. And it's very, very powerful. And so this being was probably going in and out, physical, non-physical. And so I would have to say mainly spiritual, though, just to be able to make sure that it covers itself and it's safe. Because if this being was released that night and it's roaming around the lands, that's terrifying. And somebody would have probably already seen it already. So like I said, when it comes to Bigfoot, when it comes to Thunderbirds, all these old spiritual deities from a long time ago, they have been here for a long time, and they know how to go in and out of realities, like how I said. And you just have to be careful. And a lot of people kind of are fascinated by these things. And like I said, there's good ones and there's bad ones. That's how it is with everything. There's always has to be a balance. Unfortunately, we've dealt with some bad Thunderbirds in our time. Now, I cannot say whether this one was good or bad. I would have to say maybe it's good, but just its power itself was very intimidating. Like the whole time I never really felt in danger. Maybe the spirits did, just because they understood what this thing could actually do if you piss it off. So that right there is a little backstory and a little my firsthand experience with a Thunderbird itself too as well. And it was very interesting to kind of see how John Zaffis took in this information. We talked to him after the investigation. We showed him the cry of the Thunderbird. He was actually on his way over to the airport to fly back home. He's like, give me a couple days to think about it. You know, he was just like, what? And then after that couple days, we talked to him over the phone, and he was like, what does this mean? You know, what does this represent? Where does this show where this world is? Why are these beings coming back? Why is this the end times? Is this, you know, does it have a spiritual meaning to it? And then we said, yes. You know, the world is in a weird place right now. And this is an omen. This is one of those things, if you see these deities re-emerging from the dead, from their burial grounds, something isn't right. something is preparing, something is big is going to be happening soon. So, whenever these things happen, always prepare, always be ready. You never know, mate. You never know what might happen. And I would just say take these as warnings to just be careful out there, everybody. These things are being seen all over the world, and like I said, different cultures, different religions, different tribes will have their own experiences, will have their own stories about these beings and deities. If you watch Pokemon, you can watch Zapdos. Just kidding. But that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. If you guys have any more questions or any other suggestions on what you want me to cover as far as for videos in the future, please leave it down in the comments below. Again, thank you all so much for joining me on another paranormal episode on Sean Clinton Shadow Productions. And if you guys haven't yet, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. YouTube told on all of you. Only 8% of you have your notification bells turned on. Only 8% or 13%. They told on you guys. So turn on your notification bell so you guys can know whenever I go live, whenever I make a post, or whenever I post a video. Oh, and also follow me on Instagram at official Sean Clinton SSP for all my daily shenanigans. I just posted on the Sean Clinton Shadow Lodge a new music video I did with Clay and Fire. That one was really fun, so go check that out. There's gonna be some BTS scenes coming up for that as well. And I'm getting ready for a graduation photo shoot, and I just finished up another advertisement promotion for the local dorm here in Holbrook, Arizona. So busy. But again, if you guys haven't seen my latest live stream, I announced that there's going to be a movie coming, a horror movie at Sean Clinton Shadow Productions. So stay tuned. Go follow me on Instagram. Stay tuned for all that information that's going to be coming up. I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter for that, and maybe you can be on the future movie too.
Dude, that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, what's
I
his
dig
name?
it. His name is Shanclen, SHANCLEN, Shadow Productions. So you can find them on YouTube. Go and check that guy out. Go throw him a like and a sub. If you find that video on there, let him know that you saw it over on the Paratheory page and that we sent you over that way. I messaged him earlier today, and I was trying to get him to hopefully come in as a guest with us.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested, like we've been talking about going to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And going to the place right across from the Red River.
Right.
Now the water's coming. Hopefully it's coming down. After last night, I don't know. After this week, I have no idea. I'd be really interested in taking him out there. He takes a completely different approach at paranormal investigating. It is highly spiritual the way he takes it, and it would be really interesting to have him come on.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy
for the podcast, or even to come out and do an investigation with us. Would be pretty dope. Dude, you got a dragon flying around in your studio there. Yeah. It just passed the screen at warp speed.
I've been watching him.
It was either a dragon, or you farted.
No, it was a dragon.
I wonder where they go with farts.
There he goes again.
Dragon farts.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, we've been talking about going up there to that Oklahoma spot for a while. And it'd be cool. Maybe we could double dip and do like two. Do that one night and then go a little bit further and go up to Guthrie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Take him with us up there. That'd be dope. But I think he's in Arizona is where he's at.
Yeah. That's where he's at, Arizona. That'd be a cool place.
I would love to ask him about if he's been to the mountaintop rock in New Mexico that's supposedly, haunted.
Where's
by
that
Native Americans. I'm not sure the name. TJ was telling me about it. I looked it up once and I was like, and now I can't remember the name of it, but it's a spot in New Mexico that is a reservation, and it's like a big mountain, but not. It's like a hill mountain, whatever, Texas mountain. You know what I mean? Like small, but usually like it is just full of demonic activity up there.
I wonder if there's some pretty crazy stuff that goes on like in Tombstone, Arizona, from all the history there.
I'm sure, but kind of like what he said that Johnny, what was it, Zaffis? He was saying, Johnny Zaffis was saying that everywhere is an Indian burial ground. Well, he's not far off. I mean, that's pretty much right.
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah, totally. So it kind of, you think about it like that, it's like, man, those folks, gosh, dude, unreal that they
Yeah.
had to go through that. And um, yeah, pretty much everywhere is, because we always hear about, oh, Indian burial ground. I'm like, I don't think so, man. Probably just where a lot of tragedy went down with that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like there was so much horror that happened with those folks. What a history, you know. But man, kudos to you, my friend. Shan Glenn Shadow Productions. Make sure you go check that out. He plays in a band. He's just the kind of like us,
Yeah.
We're a lot alike. He's a photographer. Craig is a
Yeah.
photographer. So I always go this way, but I always remember the camera's in reverse.
Yeah.
That guy, this one, Western Soul Photography in the house. So yeah,
Yeah, he's
he
got
runs with like a couple of other dudes too when he goes out, and not all his stuff is like that, but he does have like, where he has stories like that, and then he has actual investigations that he's done. So
so
there's plenty of stuff on the content page.
when we were watching his video when he was showing the investigation part, I think I caught like what you're saying. I think one of the main differences between the spirit box that we use that's mine versus like the SB711s, those are so disorienting listening to them.
They are.
Something comes through, it comes through, but it's still disorienting because it's so staticky to where mine doesn't have as much static like that. It just runs through them a little
Correct.
different.
Yeah. They go in milliseconds, so you have like what, 50, 100, 250,
Yeah.
300, 350, that kind of deal. And usually like the 250 range is kind of the one that works the best
Right.
when it's scanning through. And it yeah, dude, when it does start coming through and you're hearing that same voice come through over and over and over again, man, it's like, whoo, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that'll get you,
I would like to see that guy use some of the dowsing rods.
He tells a story on there about him and his grandpa having to go do a cleansing on a home.
Oh,
It
really?
was really interesting. Yeah. It
Huh.
was really interesting. And to find out that the home is not even haunted by the people that are the spirits of the people they know. It's something
Right.
completely different. And it ended up being very demonic.
Oh, wow.
You got to think, man, Navajo is real in touch with the earth. Everything's about animals and, the earth. And so, like, listening to him talk about that, it's a different look on the paranormal that we know as, who we are, what we do.
Right.
So it's really cool, man. It's kind of like your buddy there in Mineral Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what tribe he's from, but just the way he talked about Mineral Wells, he'd be cool to have on the show one day.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Chip.
Chip.
Yeah.
Definitely have him come on one day if he wants to.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are digging our new vibe. We're trying to take a different approach to this thing and keep things going, keep things interesting for you. Change up the background, keeping it short and sweet, and showing you guys some stuff like that each week. And that's what we're going to do next week. We will not be on Monday. I will be on a plane flying back in from Canada as I'm leaving out this Thursday to go up there and play some shows. So that's that. That's where I'll be. So if you're in Canada and you're in Innisfail and you come to the rodeo on Friday and Saturday, I will be there. So come and say hi.
You think you'll go to any stores up there?
Huh?
You think you'll go to any stores up there?
I can. You want me to get you something?
Maybe.
What do you want me to get you, Craig?
I'll have to text it to you later.
You want me to get you some maple syrup?
Yeah.
You want me to bring you home some poutine?
No.
I'll bring you home some gravy so you can make poutine. You can get all the curds and fries here.
Yeah. I don't even know what they have up there that I would like.
I'll just get you a little Canadian bobblehead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of Edmonton Oiler hockey player.
Is that over?
No, they're playing tonight. Actually, they're playing right now. Let's see what the score is. We'll see.
I was wondering if they won.
It's the series is tied up at 1-1.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, shit! This is a game. They're in period 2, and it's 4-1 Panthers right now. Go Panthers!
Oh, wow.
Go Panthers! Yeah, nice. I'm gonna
Where are
watch
they
the rest of that game. I don't know where they're playing at.
I mean, where are the Panthers? What
Florida.
state?
Florida Panthers. Yeah.
I didn't know they had a hockey team.
But Canada, listen, I want you to know that if the Oilers do end up winning the Stanley Cup, that Canada did not win the Stanley Cup. Alberta did. Just so you know, if you're from there, you're going to get that joke. Well, yeah. Well, man, that's our show. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 30 of the Pair Theory podcast. Darren, dang, Edmonton was playing Pink Pony Girl every night in the locker room. Wonder if they'll swap tonight. Ooh. Damn, Bergfeld coming in hot. Jesus. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back in a couple Mondays. Unless my flight gets changed and I come in super early, Craig's going to have to do all the homework for the week and find us something to talk about. Because after tonight, I got way too much on the plate.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if I can find us something to do in Canada, like go to Banff and go to the hotel there that the Shining was written about.
That'd be cool.
I will eat all the poutine, Darren. I will. Their poutine's amazing. It's just French fries, cheese curds, and brown gravy, but it hits different. Got to go to Tim Hortons and get a coffee. Go to Timmy's and get a coffee. Yeah.
What part are you going to?
I'll fly into Calgary, then I go to Red Deer, then I go to Innisfail. So, poutine is so good, man. God. You can't even make it in the States and make it right. Like it doesn't translate. It's in the potatoes up there. It's in the gravy. Like I tried making homemade poutine once. I can't get the gravy right.
Is it like a brown gravy or a white gravy?
It's a brown gravy.
Oh, okay.
And it's really good.
I'm going to have to look it up. I don't even know what it is.
You'll be starving as soon as you see it. You'll be like, oh, wow, this looks good. It looks like what we eat for breakfast down here, like hash browns and gravy.
Okay.
You know, and like if you go to Brahms and you get biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
You put hash browns in them. Yeah, moose gravy. That's what it is. Moose gravy. Brown gravy, moose gravy. Yeah, he says, I can't replicate it even with Canadian advice. Neither can I, dude. I've tried. I asked Adam, I was like, man, how do I make this gravy? He's like, oh, you got to go there and get the things there. The guy thing, those things there. Oh, all right, man. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Really appreciate it. Please like and sub on our YouTube page. Please push this thing forward. Keep us on the algorithm. Keep it going. Share it with your friends and your family. And thank you guys so much. Big shout out to all those involved. Craig, we'll see you on the flip, sir.
See you later.
Peace.